Sublime magnificence.
Hey guys, you know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent Big Ugly himself, Omari Ellis Feo Grande on YouTube, back with another episode of This Guy Hasn't Seen. And as usual, I am joined by my co-host and runner mate, one of my best friends in the world, El Director himself, Bill Smith.
Hey Omar, thank you so much for having me back. As always, love being here, love doing this thing, trading these movies back and forth. One guy has seen, one guy hasn't. Kind of like a little book club, but with movies. Haven't done this in a while. Do it with somebody.
Yeah.
Grab your dad, grab your mom, grab your grandpa, grab a friend, grab a coworker, grab anybody, and say, "Hey, this week you're going to tell me to watch a movie, and then next week I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell you about that movie, and then I'm going to tell you a movie to watch, and then we're going to keep doing that back and forth every Tuesday." Just do that with somebody because it's going to be really fun. I guarantee it. Yeah, I love doing this. Thanks for having me back.
Yes, indeed. I love doing it as well. And especially when we have weeks like this, because you brought a treat from us, a little friend of the channel. And by friend of the channel, I mean one of our friends that we like to watch. We don't know him personally, but you get my point. He's on a lot of our things.
Yes, yes. I was being a little sly. I was being a little cute last week and dropping the I've waited too long. I got the look from Mario of like, what does he mean by I've waited too long? Oh, what means I've waited too long or I've waited long enough. I think that's what I said.
Yeah,
I've
waited
waited
long
long enough.
enough.
And I've
Yeah.
it's JCVD time.
Yeah.
We're watching The Quest this week on This Guy Hasn't Seen from 1996. A group of gentlemen of fortune visits a legendary lost city located in Tibet. They plan to steal a priceless statue, Golden Dragon, during the martial arts tournament. It is directed by Jean-Claude Van Damme. It is starring Jean-Claude Van Damme. And if you watch this movie, it tells you that it is written by Jean-Claude Van Damme.
It does indeed tell you that.
The fun thing about this film, the little note after the fact, and fun to us here at This Guy Hasn't Seen, because of course, our genesis on the JCVD journey was a movie called Bloodsport, where
Yes.
Jean-Claude Van Damme played a man named Frank Dukes, supposedly Frank Dukes' life story. Well, this movie came out, and then Frank Dukes sued Jean-Claude Van Damme and was like, "Yo, man, you and I wrote this movie on set of Bloodsport. You can't make this without me." Um, Dukes won that lawsuit. So we can also say that this film was written by Frank Dukes and Jean-Claude Van Damme. But it also, yes, it is directed by Jean-Claude and it stars Jean-Claude Van Damme, Roger Moore, James Remar, and several others. Omari, you can't get more Jean-Claude Van Damme than Jean-Claude Van Damme directing, Jean-Claude Van Damme writing, and Jean-Claude Van Damme starring.
You sure can't. I noticed those things during the opening credits. It was like, oh, okay. So you told me the quest thing that you already went over your presentation of how you told me about us watching the quest. So I had no idea what I was expecting. I thought maybe something fantasy, Lord of the Rings-esque, whatever, or maybe like a Johnny Quest type stuff. But then I saw the poster as I went to find this to watch it and rent it on YouTube or whatever, and I saw Jean-Claude Van Damme on there, and all the expectations went out the window of genre or whatever, and it just became fun. What am I expecting? I'm expecting to have fun. That's what I'm expecting. It's Jean-Claude Van Damme in the 80s, or this is 80s, right?
This is 1996.
96. It's Jean-Claude Van Damme, 96. That explains something that I'm kind of that was missing. That explains why it was missing because it was a decade later. 'Cause but yes. But yeah, I was like, let's do it. And I saw Roger Moore. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but the way he delivers a line in this movie, I'm fairly certain Roger Moore is one of the Bonds.
That is correct. Roger Moore is one of the Bonds. One of the Bonds. What you'd say the more campier of the Bonds. The Spy Who Loved Me, Moonraker, Octopussy. Um,
Okay.
he was the 70s into the 80s James Bond. A View to a Kill.
Okay.
Nobody talks about enough how fucking stupid of a title that is. A View to a Kill. What? Everybody at home, say that to yourself, but slowly.
Of you
A
two
view to a
to a
kill.
kill. I'm guessing they 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 happened to see something when they looked out the
Yeah.
window.
Yeah, we all
But it's
know
still weird. You have to think about it.
it's a bad title.
Yeah, you have to think
It's
about
a
it. It's not
bad
like
title.
License to Kill. Bam,
Yeah.
know what's going on.
Octopussy.
Octopussy.
Boom. I know
Bam.
exactly what's going on there.
Eight of them? Uh, but yeah,
Yes,
so
Roger
I was
Moore is a
excited.
James Bond.
Yeah, I was like, okay, this will be cool. And yeah, so I was just excited to watch another classic, maybe JVCD movie that I hadn't seen, or JCVD movie that I hadn't seen, because it's been a journey, as you said,
Yeah.
on this channel.
Reason why I picked it, exactly that. I mean, it's JCVD time. There's a large catalog that we got to get through at some point, and we've done several of my favorites. And so, you
It was
know,
time for the
uh
quest.
not to spoil anything, but yeah, it was maybe time for the quest.
That's entirely fair. So, getting into it, I immediately could tell just by the way they were setting things up with different locations and someone walking up with a scroll. We got another Kumite movie going. And then I saw the written credit come up on the screen, written by Frank Dukes and Jean-Claude Van Damme. I'm like, and it's even written by Frank Dukes. Okay, that makes and directed by John. Like you said, like as I saw the credits, I was just like, oh, this will be a thing. Uh Early on, we got him in his New York thing. He's a clown, and I'm like, okay, it's gonna be a Kumite for the
Sure.
kids.
Yeah.
He's got to win the Kumite to save the kids. Okay, I get it. 'Cause that's what it seems like, He's running from the cops, trying to get the kids off the street because he's like a street thug criminal, but he's like Aladdin style, where we only steal when we need to eat type shit.
Yeah.
Um, but he escapes the cops, only to the movie just go on a damn near completely different turn from what I'm thinking. For someone like me who's trying to predict shit as it happens, this movie was just left turn, right turn. Like I escaped from the cops. Now I'm a slave on a ship. And I'm like, okay, he accidentally woke up on the ship and they got him as a slave. And then all of a sudden they say, fuck you, we're about to feed you to the sharks. And he's like locked up. And I'm like, wait, what did he do to piss them off to be locked up? Doesn't matter. Pirates, motherfucker. Pirates are attacking the ship. Okay, hey, this guy, okay, that's Roger Moore. Because he introduced himself, he's like, the name's Dobbs, Lord Dobbs. I'm like, okay, that's a very James Bond way to introduce yourself. I'm pretty sure he's a Bond, and that's why he did it. And then he gets human trafficked to Muay Thai Island.
Oh, Muay Thai Island. I don't know if that's a real place.
He gets human trafficked to Muay Thai Island, and the and the Asian dude's just like, he can't do anything. We don't want him to fight. Ah, he's a great fighter. Yeah, yeah. Haha, swim with him for money. We'll never see him again. Because I'm not a super expensive actor, being one of the James Bonds. But he sticks around for a couple weeks, couple months. I'm not sure. He was told he'd had 2 weeks to get back to America, but it's
Six
implied
months
he's
is the time
there
jump.
6 months. Yeah, he was there
Yeah,
for a
they
minute.
give us a 6 months later.
Yeah, so he was there for 6 months. But while he was there, because the rules on Muay Thai Island is, don't drop your guard, because motherfuckers will just beat you up for no reason if you do. And he eventually adapts, starts learning some martial arts from them as well. And then next thing you know, we cut back to Roger Moore and folks.
Oh
Let's
yeah, yeah. That's when it's the 6 months later tag. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like we cut back to him and he's comes across the journalist who I just assumed based on other Jean-Claude Van Damme movies was going to be our love interest for Jean-Claude. Doesn't really get to that point with those two. Uh
So surprisingly for a movie that Jean-Claude Van Damme has all control over, at least sexualized Jean-Claude Van Damme movie of all of them. So maybe it's not
Not him
him
asking to do
always
that.
putting those scenes in there.
Yeah, just people like, yeah, put him in there, Jean-Claude. This is what people want. But he was like, yeah, there's like some lines from the two of them that hit like maybe early on in the writing process that was the plan, but nothing ever really comes from it. Hell, her journalism thing kind of fizzles out a bit. Like it's wrapped up at the end with the whole little closing of the book, which was random. Um, but
Worst way to end a movie. I'm looking at you, Peter Jackson.
Oh, King Kong is a pile of. No, I'm kidding. I don't know which Peter Jackson you're talking
Return of the
about.
King.
Return of the King. Fair.
The Lord of the Rings saga literally ends with Frodo closing a book that he titled Lord of the Rings. It's why would you do that? Why would you do that?
That's not how the book ends. Like that's my thing. Lord of the Rings is an actual book.
Right. That's stupid.
It's not
stupid.
written in first person.
It's the worst way to end a movie.
If Lord of the Rings was written in first person, maybe. Like if it's written in the first person narrative of Frodo, I have to go to Isengard and shit. Maybe you could end the movie closing the book that he wrote called Lord of the Rings. It would make sense because he's literally telling you the story the whole time. But that's not how Lord of the Rings. Okay, we're ranting about Lord of the Rings. Yeah, looking at you, Peter Jackson.
And then it becomes, is he calling himself the Lord of the Rings? Because it's kind of his story.
Yeah,
Like, is he the Lord of the Rings?
you
Because
got a big head, didn't you?
Frodo, wouldn't call Sauron the Lord of the. He wouldn't give him that kind of reverence. So who is the Lord of the Rings? Because I mean, when you're looking at it from outside, you just assume that's a reference to Sauron, I would think.
Yeah,
But
I
if
like the
Frodo is writing that book, is he not talking about himself?
hell. You could even assume that the One Ring to rule them all could be some kind of the Lord of the Rings. It's the ring that
That's true.
lords over all
The ring
rings.
itself is the Lord of all rings,
Yeah,
I guess. Yeah, yeah,
that
that's
I would
probably
not
what it
think Frodo.
is. That's probably what it is, I guess. Yeah. Either
But
way,
yeah,
anyway,
either way, it ain't
we're jumping to
Frodo,
the end.
and Frodo ain't this movie.
The entire ending is horrible, horrible. It's ridiculous. The opening, we skip past the opening,
Uh,
which is an old Jean-Claude Van Damme walking
yeah,
into the bar
sorry, yeah.
and beating up the kids.
Oh,
It's
I skipped over that note. You're right.
it's
Him
it's
walking.
it's
It has
ridiculous.
nothing to do
It's
with anything.
ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I
And he
figured it
also
was
still
him.
has his super thick European accent, even though this entire film he's an American. He's
From New
fighting
York.
for America. Born and raised New Yorker, obviously, can't you tell from my glorious thick New York accent.
Yeah, he comes in, he's disguised as an old man for something
He's
that never really
disguised as an
plays
old
out.
man.
Or, sorry, I thought he was disguised as an old man. It ended up to just
No,
be him
that's more
old.
than appropriate. That's the perfect way to describe it.
Disguised as an old man. I totally like, oh, this is the disguised JCVD. He's onto something. But then it time skips backwards or time, reverts to the past into 1925. And yeah, we have the montage of people from around the world being invited to the Kumite. But yeah, no, it was he's disguised as an old man. Um,
Do you
but
notice
yeah,
our boy from the Warriors?
I did. That's where I knew him from.
Maxie Divine?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
our Warriors slash Raiden from Mortal Kombat Annihilation.
Wait,
We
which one is
talked
he?
about that at the
He's
Warriors.
Maxi. He was the champion. Maxi Divine.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's not who I thought looked familiar. I thought if the Asian guy Pong looked familiar. I wasn't sure if he was from another movie. Um,
Oh,
but
yeah,
dude from the
he's
Warriors, that's cool.
yeah, Maxie James Remar. He's the
I
he's the
recognized.
warrior who's too aggressive throughout the movie.
Okay,
Um
that dude. Yes, now it's adding up.
and again,
And
yeah, he's
Raiden.
also he's the Raiden that cuts his hair to like an army flat top
Yeah.
in Kombat Annihilation.
I will say another trope of John Claude, especially Kumite style movies, the chill American dude that you think is gonna be a bigger jackass than he actually turns out to be. Like, at least for me, because there's the guy in Bloodsport where I'm like, oh, this dude's gonna be a douche, and he ends up being pretty chill and one of the buddies. And same thing with like this Maxi Divine dude. He's pretty chill early on. Like they get teamed up with they come across each other because Roger Moore wants to bone the reporter, and she's like, "Take me to see an underground fight because I want to do a news story." And he's like, "Okay." Sees JCBD like, "Oh shit," and he can fight. Oh, that's not good. He saw us in the crowd, and so they kind of to talk his way out of getting his ass whooped. He's like, "I can get you anything. I want the golden dragon." I want to fight the underground tournament. Okay, we could just go steal that dragon. Cool. And reporter's like, I'm coming along too. And I got a way to get there. I'm going to tag along with the champion and act like I'm doing a story about him. Okay, that's our ticket in. And when he first shows up, I'm like, okay, so he's not going to like anybody here. And then all of a sudden, while they're writing the thing, he's like, you know what, dude? You too built to be a fucking valet. Let me change the fight. You can make some real money. Like he just kind of chilled just right off the bat. Like, you know what?
Mhm.
Nah, you seem like you should be a fighter. I would get you out of this valet life. Let me tell you how to make some real cash. Don't carry around people's bags. I'm like, all right, chill American dude is pretty chill. And oh, early on, speaking of the kids, the cops when they attack the place and or not the cops but the gangsters right before the cops get there shooting Tommy guns
And
at
children.
at a place that only has one adult in the building that they're aiming at. Everybody else in that building is kids, and they came in full Tommy guns blasting. Uh, but yeah, movie kind of goes relatively quickly though. Like they're just Willis thing until we get to a bar scene where everybody's chilling. And then we get the guy who we later find out is from Mongolia who comes in and he wants the table they're sitting at. And he's a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie villain. He's big as shit and he's mad for no fucking reason. Um
And silent.
and silent. He's silent and he's mad. That's the only reason I can say he's mad for no reason. He's never gonna tell me.
No.
He's just very pissed off. Just
Yeah. Who knows?
We need this table. We're not giving it. Well, fuck this table.
Maybe his wife cheated on him with his best friend the day before he had to leave for the tournament. We don't know. He's in a bad mood.
Is in a bad mood. He gonna take it out on everybody. But it's like, okay, so we see who the fighter's gonna be. But Max gets punched during the whole thing, and he realizes because I think Jean-Claude defends himself in a way where he's like, "Okay, you guys are up to some shit. You think I was bored yesterday? Fuck this shit. If you're so good, we're gonna get in an argument and fight." And I'm like, "Oh, chill, dude, no longer chill." Understandably so, because he's realized he's been rude or he's been rused.
Yeah.
So he's understandably no longer chill. But then he just like, fuck it. You go and enter as me. I don't even care anymore. I'm like, well, at least that's the only thing that happened. And then he shows up when it came up there because I guess he felt it was better than just straight up lying and saying Jean-Claude was him.
Right.
He's like, it's more believable if I just show up with the belt. I'm Maxie Dupree, and I say this motherfucker's better than I am. So he's entering the tournament. And then he goes full cheerleader. Goes back to just being a real chill dude the rest of the movie. He's
Yeah,
like his
no,
biggest
he is his
supporter.
biggest cheerleader.
He's his biggest supporter. Get up!
Trainer.
And trainer, yeah. New York City!
I love how the entire movie he's screaming at him to get his guard up. But Jean-Claude Van Damme, if you know anything about Jean-Claude Van Damme movies, that guard rests. I can't even get my hands in frame to where
Yeah. I barely got this hand in frame. Scooting back.
sometimes this hand is even down here and
Yeah.
open.
Yeah. You got the hand down.
Like
And
that
the
guard
other
ain't
hand.
coming up. Like that Maxie Divine has obviously not seen a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie because he also doesn't know that Jean-Claude Van Damme gets beat up the first 80% of the fight and then wins the last 20%. That is a Jean-Claude Van Damme template, and it will happen in every single one of these fights.
I'm like, I got excited because it's like it came down to tournament time. I'm like, okay, fight montage, let's go. And that's what I was like. Something that was missing was there was no 80s, just like
Yeah,
none of that shit.
the worst thing about this movie is, well, there's a lot of bad things about this movie, but like whoever he got to do the score, like is scoring this film like it's a Ron Howard movie or something. Like it's got like an Oscar baity kind of score, but like generic and not that good.
Yeah,
Instead of like a really good action score. Instead, it's just constantly like inspirational strings and a little bit of live drumming in the scenes and stuff, but like very little like
yeah.
action rhythm
I'll
to
agree
any
with that.
end of the score or music choices. That's one of the most lacking parts of this movie.
Yeah, from then on, because it's a tournament movie, pretty much just standing art moments are the fights themselves. Like you had this, I like the Spanish fighter. Like you knew he was Spanish because he did the little Olay shit right before his fight. Uh, um, then and he won his fight, which I wasn't expecting for him to win the first one. I forget who he went against. Then I saw like the sumo show up, and I'm like, oh, this is a sumo. That's a very unique style of fighting. He's gonna fight Jean-Claude. How does Jean-Claude beat the big sumo dude? Didn't quite happen that way. But you had what was it? China versus Korea. Fucking Chinese dude.
I love Maxi every time the Chinese guy fights. I'm like, huh, this guy's fighting like some kind of animal.
Yeah, it's like a
It's a
snake.
snake. And then
Next
later,
fight,
yeah,
that was
he's,
like a monkey.
yeah, he's fighting like a monkey. And then by the third fight, it's like instantaneous. The second he does the nails,
Tiger.
he goes, Tiger.
I love that. That I did like that running gag of just tiger. But yeah, China versus Korea. China dude was crazy. and he beat the shit out of that Korean dude. Turkey versus Scotland. Turkey, dude, another dude who was just pissed off, and I thought was gonna end up fighting us because of the way he looked. Just like, oh, he looks like an opponent. Okay. I think Turkey beat Scott. Oh yeah, Turkey beat Scotland. Punched him right in the fucking dick. Oh,
Oh, I think because
he
there's
may have even
crunching.
grabbed.
I
He
think it's
might have crunched him in the
a
dick.
grab and a crunch.
Might have crunched him in the dick, but
Ugh.
it was not pleasant. It was like, oh my God. The capoeira guy I thought was cool. I was like, maybe he'll fight John Claude because again, unique fighting style. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm trying to put together like, what do we want John Claude to do? Because shit, the Protector. Who's the Protector? The movie. He's a martial artist, does movies. Tommy, not Tommy John. Uh,
Oh, Tony Jaa?
Tony Jaa. Yes, there's like some famous scene of Tony Jaa, who's a martial artist who does movies, fighting a capoeira guy. So it's like that's always a good because of the way the style of capoeira is. You can make a good movie fight out of it. It's literally made to be a performance fight.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, okay, that's gonna be a fight for him. No, Capo fights sumo, squashed. I'm like, damn. Okay. Um, the African guy fought the second I saw African guy go against Mongolia. I'm like, of course the big first I said, of course the big dude's Mongolian. Of course that's what they're gonna call him. And then he fought the African guy. I'm like, oh, poor African guy. You gotta go against the Mongolian dude. But he
The one
actually
dude we met before the tournament, like definitely not losing in his first fight.
yeah. But he got off easier than expected. Or easier than the opponents that came after him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, actually, he got off easier than expected. And then, like you mentioned, America versus Germany. Gets his ass kicked, does a cool looking kick. I like the kick at the end of the fight, but it was the classic I'm coming back. And that fight had weight because it was his life and Maxi's life on the line because it was round one
Yeah.
because of the whole deal they made.
Neither of them would leave the city ever if Chris lost. Terrible name for Jean-Claude Van Damme. So
Chris.
not a Chris.
Chris Dubois.
Yeah.
Kept the French last name, but he's a bona fide American.
Bonafide American.
Bona fide. But yes, I still was like, why is the dude so mad though? We'll never find out. But Dobbs, meanwhile, is like, fuck it. You're gonna throw the next fight since you already won that one. Throw it. Let's steal the dragon. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not throwing the fight. Well, he thought about throwing the fight, but he also made a promise to Maxi that for America, we gotta win this thing. We gotta have the American flag fly at the end of this one. Okay. Far be it from me to say no to an American flag flying in the background. You can't see it. Oh, yeah, there it is by my hand. American flag. Far be it from me to say you can't fly an American flag. That said, he gets motivational speech in his next round into fighting back and not throwing it because Maxi's like that's when Maxi does the whole stand up, get up, and he's just like, yeah, I'm getting up. And so they go to plan B, which is when we finally get to our final fight because Pang, the buddy from Muay Thai Village, or I'm sorry, Muay Thai Island, the buddy
Right.
from Muay Thai Island who's there, he's the next victim for the Mongol, and the Mongol just kind of looks at Jean Claude and just breaks dude's back, just Bane Batman.
Mm-hmm. Because the guy from Mongolia has known since the moment he met him that Jean-Claude had main character energy. Like he's known from the moment. Like he's always making eye contact with Jean-Claude. He wants Jean-Claude to see everything that he's doing because he's like, yeah,
Yes.
you're my main character that I'm going to fight at the end of this. Like, he knew.
Yeah, he just He was like, I did it. There it is.
Bitch.
Yes. Bitch. That's what you got to look forward to in the finals. Which I ain't John Claude Van Damme. That would scare the shit out of me. That is a very high roll on the intimidate check. Uh, but yeah, we had some other cool fights. China versus Brazil, which I think China versus another guy that was really cool because that was when he did the
All
monkey
of
thing.
Japan's fights lasted about 4 seconds until he ended up coming through the running through the Mongol.
Yep. And he got defeated. And yeah, I also thought Siam was gonna fight us because he was from our village or and stuff because there was that history. But apparently they had squashed whatever beef they had for like 10 seconds when they first showed up. Because at the bar, they walked over to him and were like, "Hey, you gonna betray us like this? We taught you how to fight and you gonna enter the tournament?" But no, they just squashed that. He went when he was going to fight him, he's just like, "I got it, buddy. Yeah. Oh, okay. No worries here. Guess you're not fighting us though. Gets bodied. I did of the moments I did like the grabbing the thing, the non-verbal, bloody rope, wipe the blood on you. Fuck you. I don't need to speak your language. You know exactly what I'm saying with this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those kind of
No,
moments that
yeah.
just, all right, we know what's going on here.
We all know what's up.
Yeah. So since he can't get John Claude to help him steal it because he threw the fight. Dude gets another thing. Dobbs gets another idea. He's gonna get a blimp. He's gonna get a fucking big ass blimp from somewhere with a rope, tie it around the dragon, and an airlift the dragon out of here while the fights are going on because nobody guards it because they don't think anybody
It's
can lift
it's
it.
the Germans blimp.
It's the Germans. That makes
We
sense.
see the Germans unloading from it as when our main characters arrive at the secret city.
Okay, fair. I might have missed that part, but yes, there we go. At least it explains where the blimp came from.
Yeah. But no, yeah, it's still,
Yeah,
yeah.
I was just
How
like,
does he
oh
know how
boy.
to drive a blimp? The one shot we have of him standing in the interior, there's like 30 dials and knobs on that thing. Like, how does he just walk into that and know how to perfectly hover a blimp directly above a golden statue?
And he barely knew how to make sure he could lift off with his teammate. Like, help me out, buddy. No, you'll figure it out. Meet me outside. Ugh. And they get caught because what's his name was fighting China at the time, but he wins it. Or no, the fight gets interrupted when he wins like simultaneously. He was about to go for the killing blow.
Right.
Bell rings and the alarms ring right afterwards because the other guys get caught. Dobbs, way too comfortable with failing, gives some kind of little semi-sob story speech. Wasn't always a pirate, you know. Was once a member of the British Navy. Did all kinds of things for the country. And what did that get me? Now I'm a pirate. But whatever, I failed. Win some, lose some. Like, you're way too comfortable with failing. You know what I mean? Just like, yep, I'm in prison. At least Harry in the background, like, what the fuck did I listen to this dude? You know, you get that feeling from Harry. Like,
Yeah.
he understands his life is ruined. The other dude's like, man, sometimes you roll ones. Um, but John Claude also decides to make a decision that I didn't agree with because this motherfucker kidnapped you, trafficked you, and then tried to clue you in on a scheme that could have gotten your ass buried because you're a thief in this area. And you go, hey, that I understand that guy's totally earned his death by y'all laws and rules and kind of by morals. But no, if I win, he goes free and you can keep the golden dragon, which is the whole reason I came in the first place. Because fuck the kids, I guess. It's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
why? Okay, whatever. I guess we're doing the final fight.
Because Omari, we're going to be able to say in the epilogue, oh, and Chris went back to New York and helped the kids and everybody was fine. which he
Right.
literally says.
Yes.
That's almost not
I went to
paraphrasing.
New
That's
York
almost
I
word for
went to
word.
New York and got the kids off the streets. No, oh no, I didn't get the Golden Dragon, but I returned to New York as I promised, and I got the kids off the streets. Okay. But yeah, final fight. It's a John Claude fight, not the best John Claude fight. At one point, he gets knocked out of the ring, and I'm like, I guess there's no ring outs in the finals because he just gets up, says, "Come on," and everyone just follows him outside, and now we're fighting in the streets. And I'm like, I
Well, the
guess that's
Mongolia guy turns around to the head dude and is like,
yeah.
huh? And the head guy's like,
Yeah,
so I
even he
guess,
was caught off guard. He's
yeah,
like,
the
I'm
head
not
guy
the
was like, well, I guess we don't want the finals to end in a count out, so I guess keep going.
Pretty much. And so he's like, I guess we're gonna keep going. And so they fight across the city. Eventually, John Claude makes his comeback, wins, and they just kind of crowd around him and he leaves with everybody and just goes straight into the narration. I would have rather they did, because didn't Bloodsport just credits
Yeah,
when he won? I would have rather that.
yeah.
I would have rather that. He won credits. We'll put the pieces together. Not I went back to New York like I promised and got the kids off the streets. How? You didn't get the dragon. Also, what's his name? He's like, Maxine did so and so, so and so, so and so. And then the book closes and it's called The Quest by Carrie Newton, who
I
just kind of
mean,
gotten forgotten.
he is like holding at the by the end, he is at the stage where like him and Newton are like holding each other by the hip. So like maybe is
Maybe.
like maybe you could say that because she is the daughter of someone who owns a city, a New York City newspaper. So
Maybe that's it.
maybe he went back with her. He's wealthy now. He
Although
gets his
part of me
kids off the
wondered if she
street.
was full of shit like Dobbs was.
Oh.
Because a couple of times, like one of the times, he's like, her dad was a thing, and it kind of cuts to her like, eh, picture. And it's like, are you bullshitting right now about your dad owning the place? Because she also had that phone call that like, didn't we send you over there to get rid of you?
Yep.
I'm like, oh, so she and Dobbs are hitting it off because they're both bullshitting about how popular they are. Oh, yes, I have a home in so I have land in Scotland to do so, 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 so. Oh, my dad runs the globe. Hmm. Yes, charming, quite. Um,
Charming.
but no, that's the movie.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Uh,
the movie.
yeah, it was The Quest. It's a Jean-Claude Van Damme
We
movie.
had to set a baseline for Jean-Claude Van Damme,
I think that
you
is
know?
what we would say.
Yeah.
That's about a baseline Jean-Claude Van Damme movie from the 90s. Wasn't quite the heyday of Jean-Claude Van Damme,
No,
but it's still a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. So that's that.
absolutely.
Yeah. So I guess next week, we can move on to something else. But then I
Yeah.
decided, you know what? We had a baseline Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. I've seen one Jean-Claude Van Damme movie you haven't seen. Yeah, I have. And it's a recent Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. So I figured, you know what? After The Quest, it's time to recommend this movie. Uh, it's called The Last Mercenary from 2021.
The
Yeah,
Last Mercenary. All right.
yeah. We'll see what that goes like next week.
I'm sure it's going to be great.
Oh yeah, 2021. Jean-Claude Van Damme after 96 Jean-Claude Van Damme. So we got that going. You can catch that next week. You can catch our previous Jean-Claude days, your Time Cops, your Blood Sports, the movies you know and love with Jean-Claude Van Damme, your kickboxers. I'm sore working out. Your kickboxers. Um, you can catch those on this channel. You can on Tuesdays we have this show. On Saturdays, Bill and I have a show called You Don't Watch Sports right here on the Feo Grande Network. Two guys, three topics, help you sprinkle a little information into your sports conversation and be your guiding light through the seed that is sports talk. We also have a show whenever we want on Wednesdays called Whatever We Want with me and a good friend of mine, a good friend of the show, Super Jazz.
Super Jazz.
Thank you very much. As Nature intended, we talk about just that. And on Mondays, we got a show called Mock Draft, where we draft some things back and forth, and it's highly wrestling themed as well because of the Wrestling Fantasy League Bill and I got, and the fact that, if we really want it, we're not gonna, because we pretty much are using Mock Draft for this. If we really want it, we could just have an all wrestling show.
Absolutely. But yeah, that's mock draft and a little bit of you don't watch sports. We get it out there.
Yeah, we get it out there.
But yeah, no, I mean we're getting hot and heavy there. I mean we are on the road to WrestleMania.
Oh shit.
So
It's
anything
always
could
crazy
happen.
when you put it that way. But yeah, the whole season. Yeah, anything can happen and it's already starting. You know what I'm saying? That said, catch all those other videos. I also have a Twitter and Twitch at Giotavi. That is Giotavi. Come on in, stop on by. Streaming Earth Day 240. You know what that means. Bill, you got anything else you want to say to the folks out there?
No.
All right. Well, guys, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next week with The Last Mercenary. Adiosness.